Hi guys, welcome back. Another episode of URC Unloaded with me, John Barclay, your host for the evening, the weirdest man in rugby, Tom Shanklin, and Ulster's biggest fan, Stephen Ferris. Lads, how are we? Stevie, how is the back? I saw you were struggling last week, and I saw on your Twitter you're struggling again.
Getting advice off Twitter.
No, I have been struggling. Got a scan yesterday, so we're just waiting on the radiologist report. I wish I had good news for you, JB, but unfortunately I don't. And yeah, I'll be swinging no golf clubs anytime soon. So yeah, just resting up, mate, and plenty more time to do my homework for URC Unloaded.
The most prepped man on the show. It's not saying a huge amount. Shanks, how are you?
Yeah, good. Shocking round of golf this week, but you can't win them all, John, can you?
You can't win them all. Speaking of winning, we have a victorious head coach. See what I did there? As we start the show every week, we have Ivan van Rooyen, who should be joining us now, Lions head coach. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, evening, gents. Thanks for having us.
Ivan, from me, quickly, 4 wins in the last 4 rounds. After a tricky start to the campaign, the mood in camp must be superb.
A little bit better than a while ago, to be honest. No, it's good. Nice playing at home. Nice playing for the first time in almost 2 years, playing European or international opposition back home. So good. Local game this weekend, Sharks up. But no, everything's going well, thanks.
Talk to me about playing at home. Obviously, it sounds crazy, but for me, the thought of my home ground being at altitude, I would struggle with that. And we've seen the teams go over there and really struggle at altitude. How do you guys adapt to that fully, or do they find it as just as much of a struggle as the teams that play there?
I think that's a great question. Let me start off. I think altitude and sun is a different opposition than just altitude.
Yeah.
So 3 o'clock kickoff or 2 o'clock kickoff is very different than 7 o'clock at night kickoff. No, it's still real for us. You can see it if the guys had a week break or they come back from the coast for a weekend or probably 2 weeks, especially. It's almost like you've got to reprogram them. So no, we tend to believe that makes about a 10-15% difference in feeling or perception. But yeah, I think that's part of the excitement is with the traveling teams going there. We know that they're going to start well. I think they will come with a mindset that if they don't start well, then they've only got 40 minutes left to play because they've lost 20 years literally just hanging on to it. So we know they're going to start well. So it's important for us to start well as well.
Edinburgh were coming there off the back of a good win against the Sharks. What were your messages this week? Where were you trying to take them on?
Yeah, geez, I think they're probably one of the top 2-3 teams in the competition. All around, the defensive effort against the Sharks was unbelievable. The attacking game, they can score from everywhere. They've got great kicking game, quality players all over the show. So it was important for us to try and break them on the counter attack. Stay in the kicking game with them. They've got really good kicking game, and then just try and increase the physicality as much as possible.
I don't know whether it was what message you're bringing on, but you look really good off counter attack. Is that something you work on really hard, or is it a case of you've just got quality players and it's more heads up, play what you see?
To be honest with you, after our review of the 4 South African games, we were quite disappointed that we weren't dynamic enough. We didn't take enough chances, and probably counter attack is should be one of our strengths, and we kind of went away from that into this massive kicking mindset. So we are working hard on it. Have a crack. If you don't get momentum, then make a good decision. But like I said, we're also blessed with good speed outside wide, good agility out wide. So it's about decision making, but we don't mind having a crack on counter.
Ivan, just on your tactics and you talk about all the pace that you have and the kicking game that you referenced there. Like obviously your game plan has to change when you rock up to Belfast or Dublin in a wet and windy Friday night. How has it been getting used to the competition and just in general, how happy have you been with your players and how they've adapted? Because the style of rugby that we're seeing in South Africa over the last couple of weeks is extremely different from the style of rugby that we witnessed from the South African teams 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the Leinster game for us was quite a moment for us where we go, we can still have a crack on counter attack and be a little bit more ambitious on attack. But you've got to have a good kicking game and a good defensive game there. It was probably for half of the team the Thursday before the game. It snowed a little bit, and that's probably the first time the majority of the guys saw snow. So everyone's outside waving and taking big pictures and videos. So it's big. It's very different. The small muscles in the fingers and forearms doesn't want to work so nicely. So we felt that there was a little bit of an increase in skill error. So similar to altitude and sun this side, it's going to take a little while for us to adapt that side, and individually in preparation, but also in game plan.
Ivan, just from me, we said a tricky start to the year. You guys must be confident looking at the run in the fixtures. You've got the big derby this weekend, followed by 3 games, which I'll say I would fancy you guys to dust them up. You guys feel like you're timing this run in well and you're adapting to the competition and you feel in a good place?
Yeah, we've actually, apart from about 3 games, we really weren't good enough, to be honest. We felt that the momentum is coming and we are building. I mean, it's no secret that we've got a really young team, but that's part of the excitement. So yeah, 4 games left. The one in Durban, obviously they're hot favourites. They've got a quality team, and then 2 games at home. Again, should be a bit of sun. Should be 1,700 meters of altitude. I won't say it out loud in a press conference, but I mean, it does make a difference. And then we travel to Wales in the last round. So we can feel there's a bit of momentum. Obviously, the confidence is a lot higher than a couple of months ago.
Are you talking about top 8, or is that something you're not really focusing on, just finishing the season strongly? So there's a chance you could get there.
Yeah, in the coach's room, there's quite a bit of chat about that. Part of our planning, part of our periodization. We're not gonna put it on a pedestal in front of the team yet. We got to get to the Sharks first.
Just looking ahead, Ivan, in terms of, and Stevie touched on it there, the adapting and learning to playing. You know, the Lions have gone from playing, Super Rugby, Currie Cup, to playing in Galway, to that adaptation. What are the key lessons, I guess, looking forward to next season that will put you in a much better place to attack the season and get out of the blocks that bit quicker? All of us, we were unbelievably impressed by the lack of skill areas and system areas from the European teams. They just don't give you anything. Their skill level sublime, decision making, because it's all quality international players, are sublime. So we probably, if I'm honest, after the ZEBRE game, that Scarlets just blew us off the park. Just with they were just so clinical. Didn't make any errors. We put the set piece under pressure. They just managed to get the ball away and just killed us with basic rugby, but just so effective. So that was good learning for us. Like I said, Leinster was great learning for us. Where when conditions is a little bit different, it's just make it a fight, just scrap it out, find a way. So lessons learned, obviously, if you take experience out of it, because everyone will have about between 15 and 18 caps more than the start of the previous season. The ability to make just quicker decisions, and the ability to sum up what's happening and what's on offer quicker will be something that we should be better off.
Ivan, something that Bobby Skinstad and myself were talking about at the weekend when Ulster played the Bulls was obviously there's 30,000 fans and supporters there, and it's something on the ground in South Africa. Hopefully, when COVID keeps disappearing, that you can get fans back in. But how hard is it to create that Lions brand once again and get bums on seats? Because over here in the Northern Hemisphere, as you know, it's home support is 5, 7, 9 points a game, and that's something I'm sure that the backroom staff away outside of rugby are trying to work hard on to try and get more people to the games.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was unbelievable playing against Ulster, playing against Scarlets, playing against the local teams with that support. I mean, that's pretty special to experience. Yeah, we had some good news from government this week. Probably another month, and then we could really start cracking it open. So, I mean, up to a week ago, it was 2,000 people in the stadium. A week and a half ago, now it's allowed to be 50%, and probably from a month from now, it's open. So, it's the brand we play is vital in that, and the way we play, the character we show on the field, who we represent and how we want to represent them is quite important. Like you guys say, playing in front of 10 or 15 or 20,000 people at home just makes so much difference.
Ivan, we do our research and checks when we get coaches online. And you've passed them all. It's fine, mate. Don't worry about it. But something's come up that your nickname is Commander Cash. Now we've got our own Captain Cash in John Barclay because he's absolute mercenary, do anything. But why are you Commander Cash? Can you explain? Is it true?
Well, I won't say commander. At university, I went to university in Johannesburg. It's now called UJ, University of Johannesburg, used to be Rao. In res, we had 4 reses, and my res was Dromedaris. So it's a ship. It's a navy. It was a navy theme around the res, and I was on a house committee. So that's the commander part, and then Cash is my nickname. Is my nickname. More people refer to me as Cash than Ivan. So yeah, that was just a nickname, and it kind of stuck for the last 25 years.
Well, he's not giving us everything there, I don't think.
I can't.
There's something there for sure. We won't dig too deep. Thanks so much for coming on, giving us your time. Good luck this weekend against the Bulls and for the rest of the season, and hopefully we catch up with you soon.
Thanks very much, Cash.
Cheers, Cash. On a dosh. On a moolah. It was a very straight bat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That answer.
Answered the first bit, didn't answer the second bit.
They just call me Cash.
He's
done well in the old coaching setup, lads, like where he's come from, and he's still a very young coach, and good to see him get the head gig at the Lions, and he wants to keep playing that attacking style of rugby, which we all want to see. So yeah, he seems fairly switched on.
He's done it the hard way, hasn't he? He's not just like walked into a coaching role, strength and conditioning, and then he was head coach and moved all the way up.
Fair play to him. Nice guy.
To the seat.
The head seat. So the African teams are still flying, though. Absolutely flying. We'll start with some of the ruggers. We'll start with that game from Ivan's team. Lions 15, Edinburgh 9. Stevie,
Thought they were going to do it. Thought they were going to do it, Edinburgh.
So,
John, I text you, John, or into the group, and like that's where I feel Edinburgh are at. Like where if they're definitely obviously going to get into the top 8, but can they string 3 really good performances in a row to win a trophy? And I don't think they can. Like I think they're more than capable of beating anybody in the league in a one-off game, but can they do it 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row? I just don't feel it. And like they had a pretty good team out, at the weekend, and I thought the Lions were there for the taking, but just come up a little bit short. But they're still looking good, and I think that the games that they're going to have to finish off, Edinburgh are going to make a real charge for a home quarter final.
Yeah, that's what as I was looking at their games. I can see them. I know they got Glasgow to finish at home. I can see they got Ulster before that, and I've forgotten the game they've got next.
ZEBRE
yes.
at home.
I think they'll go 3 from 3 to finish, and I think some of the teams above them will drop down. In particular, we're going to get into that a bit later. Yeah, I thought Edinburgh, if you look at the trip, and we said it last week, you come home from that trip with 6 points or 5 points, 1 win, 1 losing bonus point. You look at the way the other teams have gone over there.
Yeah, happy with that.
Yeah, you'd be happy with that, I think. And Ivan touched on there, playing at altitude, it just takes. And the tries were just moments of brilliance, of good handling, good offloading, and they fall behind. And I just don't think they've got the lungs in the last 20 to catch it. But they had opportunities. I thought, like you said, there was opportunity missed potentially. But equally, like I said, I think that's not the end of the world. To come home from that trip with that number of points, no one injured.
Van der Berg was good for the Lions, scrum half. Like I was really impressed with him.
He's busy.
9. Hendricks, great finisher. What about that drop kick from Immelman? That's huge. See how much length it had on it after it went through the post.
I mean, you guys both played out. That's why I asked Ivan that question. I have no concept of it. I have no concept of how far the ball is going to be. See, that would have gone to 60.
Yeah,
60
it goes further. Matt definitely goes further.
No, I thought the lines are good. The Henrik's try, the speed, the offload. It's a good game again. I'd love to be over there playing.
Yeah, me
amazing,
too.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, like all I can remember is like the sandy, like when it got really into the winter months, and like they just filled the pitches with sand, and then like you got the knees and face was just great. Oh, now the boys are out playing on a beautiful sunny 24 degrees in Pretoria.
Yeah.
I'd like
It's
to
like
go
you see the pictures from the '97 Lions tour, don't you? And they're like, it is sand, isn't it? There's no grass on it. It's like the colour of your sofa, Stevie.
Stevie, we'll move on to your beloved Ulster.
Yeah.
Oh, how long you got?
Getting a lot of grief online, actually. Mostly from South African people who disagreed with some of my comments after the game. Like Bobby Skinstad agreed with me as well. Like, there's absolutely no doubt the Bulls deserved to win the game. Like, they were the better team. They were a more physical team. Like, Ulster were still in it at halftime. Yeah. But there's just the referees just cannot get it right. Like, and the TMOs are having such an input now where there's a bit of a ricochet comes out here. I think it's Tom O'Toole. Then Kieran Treble comes in, hits the ball there, and there's no contact, no direct contact to the head. You know yourselves, lads, if you went in slow mode every single ruck, like your head is touching a jersey or somebody's knee or ankle or shoulder at nearly every breakdown. So you cannot slow mo and say, well, hold on a second.
That's a red card, mate.
That's a red card.
He doesn't. I think it is in today's game. It is. I think in today's game, like that's the. If you want to go high like that in a tackle, that is a risk.
He hits the ball.
If you're hits his head.
No, he doesn't hit his. No. He hits the ball.
I think it rises up, doesn't it? That's what the referee said. It makes contact and then slides up. Actually, you're going low. He's against the smallest guy on the pitch. So
yeah, but he's going up as well. He's low, but he goes up. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm saying I think in today's game that is probably a red card.
So if you tackle somebody and you hit the ball, and when you hit the ball, because the ball is oval, you're automatically going to slide slightly up, and the impact from the hit ricochets, and his face touches the jersey. That's a red card.
I think he's too high, and you're talking about split seconds.
No, answer my question.
Can't remember what it was.
I'm probably with Shani says. I think it's a choice to tackle high.
It is, and you get it slightly wrong, even if you think you're right. And there's one to come up, Stevie, in the Scarlets game. That is the risk you take. If you want to go high like that, he doesn't get low enough. You can tackle lower than that. He's up.
He hits the ball. He doesn't make any contact with his head.
I would say the ball and the shoulder hit very similar time.
No, they don't.
There.
That angle looks like it hits him on the mush first.
Right. If he hits him in the mush, why is his nose not squished across his face? It literally. And play it in real time as well. Marius Plonker put it on the TMO and had it at a still freeze frame, the exact moment.
Stevie, here we go. What about then James Ryan? Okay, when he gets knocked out and the chest of Ewells hits first and then head contact together. So is that the same? You're saying he hit with his chest first and then the second impact.
No, he didn't. He hit him with his shoulder on the ball.
Here's an interesting stat, and it's one that your mate told me actually, Shanks, or Flats. He said, how many times? Because I always go back to that's a choice to tackle at that height.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I get you're sacrificing the offload. You want big hits in the game. Courtney Laws, I think one of the best tacklers in the game. How many high tackles has he been penalised for in his career? One. Okay. Whole career, one high tackle. So I think I'm kind of probably with Shanks. I think you make the decision, you run the risk. Referees are going to err on that side 99 times out of 100.
Right. Okay. So say that's, you guys are saying that's a yellow card or a red card?
I'd probably go red.
Right. So what's Coetzee then? Banned for life?
Can I see it?
I see it now.
Banned for life.
Prison sentence.
Oh, hold on. I'll just try and take his head off here.
Yeah, that's red as well.
Oh, but it's not the same.
There's still contact with head.
Yeah.
He's not, because Kieran Treadwell makes contact with the ball, Shanks.
It's ball and head around the same time, mate. There's not enough. There's not enough. The way you're describing it is like there's like 2 or 3 seconds from hitting the ball to hitting the head. It's even worse in real time, because it looks like ball and head are hit at the same time.
So like, this is the thing. The referee was right on the spot with the Kieran Treadwell incident, and he didn't even see anything. The player who was hit by Kieran Treadwell got straight back up off the ground. Nothing was said, and they played on. Then the TMO got involved. Then they went back and had a look at it. For me, the TMO made a decision that, like,
yeah, it's not refereed on the outcome of the player getting up or down. I think that's, you see it all the time.
No,
sometimes they do say down, but sometimes you see incidents which are.
Tell you, mate. Yeah, we'll get to it in a bit. We'll get to the Scarlets one with Foamy, and it's really
I've seen
similar.
the Scarlets one. Yeah.
It's really similar. Like, I'm not sure if it's just a big hit, but you've got to give the referee no reason to think it's a red card or to penalise you, and there is a reason there, because he hits high and he's bent low, but he drives up. And here's the Scarlets one.
That's a car crash.
Yeah, it's a massive hit for one, and I'm not sure whether he gets him under the head or over the or on the head. But
yeah.
Because he tackles high, I think it's an easy decision for the ref, an easier decision for the ref to make.
We could talk about these all day, I think. And that's the thing. You go around in circles.
I hope not.
Stevie's not happy, but Ulster won't be happy. Stevie, they've got to come away from the
No. Like, obviously the game before against the Stormers, there was a couple of rough decisions went against them, but they have a few big games coming up. I think the Munster game in a few weeks' time in the URC. Ulster have got Munster at home. I know we'll talk about Munster, but Munster have got a really tough run in. Like, they've got a tough couple of games in Europe. But Ulster, as you know, lads, they don't lose at home, so you would fancy them to get a home quarter final, and I think they'll take a lot away from the trip to South Africa.
Yeah.
Well, plenty there. Shanks, you weren't impressed with a lot in the Dragons game, and just the Dragons in general. I mean, talk about tough trips.
Yeah.
51-3 to the Sharks. We had Dean Ryan on last week. He expressed, as long as they were the best versions of themselves. Do you think Dragons were at their best versions of themselves this week?
2 penalty tries for slapping the ball down? Probably not. I feel sorry for them, because they're stuck in a hole. They're in a rut. They can't get themselves out. The Sharks pack was dominant. Look at this try from Koch.
Do you
know what it resembles the John Bentley try. I think it was versus like Transvaal in the line, which was 97. This is modern rugby. You shouldn't against a professional outfit like that. You shouldn't be. Well, it's a real decent try. That is quality. But
yeah, you look at it both ways.
When he got the ball, he should be scoring that try. But that just sums up where they are. There's 2 pen tries from Josh Lewis and Lewis Jones from knocking the ball down. The pack destroyed the Dragons. The scrum destroyed the Dragons. Oxley Niche was really strong. Bonambi was brilliant as well. They just were way too physical, way too strong, way too powerful, and the Dragons are desperate for a win.
Shanks, I know we didn't say to Dean Ryan last week, because if they finish the season with 1 win, is his job like really going to be talked about? Like, because they don't look like a well coached team either. Like
has to be taught. Like you can't go through the season with one win. You know, there has to be repercussions. Something has to change, and he's been given time. He has been given time, and he's made signings. But it might be a bigger picture than just that. You know, there's a lot of issues with rugby and the finance of the regions, not knowing your budgets, etc. But you know, they've got the Scarlets coming up soon. Who else they got? They got the Scarlets at home and away. I can't see them doing that. They've got ZEBRE away. That could be one, which they could sneak. And normally you'd say, you know, that's a given, isn't it, for a win for a lot of the teams in the URC. You know, you'd probably say that's 50-50 at the moment, wouldn't you, with those two?
I just say that they don't look like a team that's. I get it. It's hard to go to South Africa and win. Like, don't take that off the table. But like, they're not going there, and you're seeing like them scrapping. Like, they're not scrapping everything. It's almost. It looks like, and I hate to say it, it looks like, you know, the white flag's out a lot of the time.
Has to be. You know, they just can't wait for the season to end because it's been so poor.
Good disappointing.
Yeah, an amazing one. Did I tell you, like, where have I told you this before? Like, you know, when you have like an end of season drink, and sometimes there's always someone, like normally me, like with a golf ball, dropping in people's pints. You know, the Dragons used to do it with a mouse, a dead mouse they'd get from a
frozen mouse.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I think that was Reece Thomas who brought that in.
Stinky, yeah. We've got a question here. Why are the European coaches and players crying when it doesn't go their way? I think, Stevie, that he's talking about you crying. Same as last year when England versus Springboks, Bocky were robbed. European refs, they should learn how to play. Anyone understand the question? More of a statement, I suppose.
I think it's aimed at Steve, to be honest. Dry your eyes, mate. Why are you crying?
Dry your eyes, mate.
We're going back to the cards. We got a bit of feedback. The Kutsia tackle is a red. Didn't even need to make that tackle. He went in to hurt the player.
No, I don't think he went in to hurt the player. Like, I just think the player was on his way down. But like when the yellow card was shown to Kutsia, he sprinted off the pitch with it. Like he was delighted with that. Like I think when he seen the yellow card for Treadwell for that incident, straight away he was like, "Oh no, I'm going to get red carded here." Obviously, maybe a bit of a hometown decision with the yellow card, but yeah.
How did Kutsia play, Stevie? Because you gave him a bit of a hard time pre-game.
No, I didn't.
I thought he did. I thought he said he was like, love playing hide and seek for the big games.
Well, I just think he went missing in the big games for Ulster. Like any time he played against Leinster, I was like, oh, Doris versus Kutsia, Jack Conan versus Kutsia, and they just took him out of the game. He didn't finish a couple of the games either against Leinster. He was taken off. Yeah, so like Rassie Erasmus didn't pick him either. Like, you know, so he must see something that I maybe see as well, and that he's very good with ball in hand, going forward, being very direct. But you just got to have a little bit more than that, I think, test level in the big games. But I tell you what, I don't want to get into a fight with him, like, because he'd knock me out. I
was like that, like against Borders when they were in the league. Borders and Connacht, you know, when they were struggling. I used to love it.
John, you played for Borders, did you?
No. I didn't play for Borders. No, that even for Scottish people going down there, that the Borders people, I'm trying to think of the equivalent in Wales or Ireland, Northern Ireland. Like, they're the most proud people of living there, and there's not a lot there. Small towns, rugby's a thing. It's not fancy, but yeah, that's a.
I played against Gregor Townsend when he was at 10 for the Borders.
Oh yeah, I played against Gregor for Glasgow twos. So when they had backup games, and Gregor he played on a line, and he was playing for Borders second in a midweek game against we had joiners and stuff playing for us. And I think he retired not long after that. I think he wrapped it in. Anyway, we're getting distracted.
That was it. You retired Gregor Townsend. Well done, John.
Well, yeah. He retired me though as well, so joke's on me. He just didn't pick me in the end. Ospreys in South Africa. Shanks, another game, another loss, another poor performance.
Well, they drew the second half 7-7, so. Stormers hammered them too early. Hammered them early. I tell you what, it was probably quite important. They took 3 points before the end of the first half. That was just took them to 22-6. That was always going to be tough coming back from that for a team that's struggling to attack. Really, Ospreys tend to score a lot of penalties, and LeBrock was class. Honestly, he was so good, and it frightens defenses when you got a 10 that can make breaks, but is also pacing.
Yeah.
So when he makes a break, he's pulling away because they pull away from defenders. They pull away from, they can finish tries as well. And I thought he was class, kicking out off the left, as was Zas on the wing as well.
Yeah, he was quality.
Do you know what the South Africans are? I've been like when they're in behind you, like almost they just score. That's it. The handling,
so quickly.
Yeah, it's awesome to watch.
I'm not comparing Manny Lebach to Dan Carter, but anytime Dan Carter got a break, you're right, Shanks, got a fend away. He like accelerated away from the defense, and it's exactly the same. Like it's class to watch.
Yeah, he's so fast, and you'd probably think he'd be really knocking on that door now of South Africa. But Zas was really good. Scored 2 tries. Does everything. He can finish short. He can use his strength. He's got bags of pace. He was really good, but just way too strong for the Ospreys. I mean, they put up a decent enough fight in the second half, but the game was already won. Max Nagy came off the bench and looked pretty good. He was probably the shining light in the Ospreys, but apart from that, beaten by a better team, so no complaints.
No complaints. Speaking of beaten by better teams, Glasgow, ZEBRE, another loss.
Yeah, hit us with that, John.
I don't know what to say. It's
all right. Move on.
We'll move on now. Tackling. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of different ways to say it. Just how poor that ZEBRE are. They're just.
Yeah.
Again, like you talk about Dragons wanting the end of the year, you almost think these guys have got 1 foot on summer holidays already. Just again, I get it. Glasgow not an easy place to play when you're low on confidence. But 3 maul tries could have been more. Johnny Matthews scores 3, and they're all the carbon copies. And Glasgow have got a good maul. Danny Wilson drills them very well there. But I mean, they've got some big units in that ZEBRE team, and they don't put it about. I don't think.
No,
in the pack, in the back line, and they just don't look anywhere near they were competitive. I think you didn't expect them to win all the games, but I think you'd expect them to scrap a bit and be competitive. And how they get on. Michael Bradley's left. It's just what's next for them.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like Michael Bradley was leaving because he wasn't doing a good enough job, but at the same time, it feels like they've went another step backwards since he's left. Like I've worked under Brad's. Like he was coach at Ireland A. Like he was quite. He would have been very casual as a coach, but he actually got you up for games, and he got you ready to tear down walls, going out onto the pitch. You just don't see that from ZEBRE at all. So, there's going to be a few interesting conversations over pre-season at ZEBRE. I think they can sort it out because it's just not going to work going forward, lads.
It's not as if they don't have territorial possession either, because they do. It's not like they're being starved completely. They're just not very good with it. They try to run everything. They try to play everything. And honestly, you watch them. If you just lay off them or defend for 3 to 5 phases, something will happen. They'll knock it on. Pass will go to floor, and they'll just turn the ball. They just can't go through large amount of phases like the quality teams can. Like someone you can't really compare them to like an Irish province, but they need to get to sort of 10, 20 phases. And at the moment, they can't really get past 5 or 6.
Yeah, well, bit of work to be done there. Another Italian team, for us the weekend, lads. Connacht got back up to winning ways, 17-21.
Close.
Good game. Any thoughts on the game, Stevie?
Yeah, Connacht had another good side out. They needed to bounce back after that absolute mauling the week before. So the game sort of Connacht got away early, and then sort of got tight again. But fair play to Connacht. They have a big couple of weeks coming up back to back against Leinster. But I think their race is run when it comes to the top 8. Prendergast is a really good back row player, number 6. He was involved in the Irish camp as well, just before the Six Nations kind of came in as a project player. Really good line here from him. A wee bit of gas. You like the way he carries the ball in both hands and a little bit of a step. So really good line out option as well. Him, Jared Butler, and what is his name? Connor Oliver in the back row. I think will probably start for the remainder of the season. But yeah, to be honest, lads, I think those two teams, Connacht could beat anybody on their day and then go and get pumped by 50 points.
Yeah.
It's they're very frustrating to watch.
Yeah, I think they're not quite there this year. We're gonna skip on because we ended up talking about those yellow cards, red cards. Should they be red cards for too long? Given the time we have, just the last game, Shanks, Scarlet game. We're hoping for a decent derby. I watched. I thought it was a quality derby, a typical derby, a bit of everything. Red card, plenty of tries, plenty of good play. Some of the Scarlets boys really stood up in that game, I thought.
Yeah, I think probably I did the show. We maybe have underestimated the emotional attachment they had, the Scarlets boys, because of obviously James Davis retiring and what a great clubman he was, what a great bloke he was, and what an effect he had on the Scarlets team. And they would have been talking about that before the game. And we sort of talked about Cubby's retirement and how sad it is, but they probably really had a massive motivational factor from that. And Cardiff started well. Josh Adams scores a nice try off a kick. Jason Harris gets up and the ball's turned over, and Ben Thomas puts a kick through. But Johnny McNichol was class. It was his 100th game. I think his mum had come down to present him a cap. They'd made a big hoo-ha out of it. This is class. He's a player that just glides, just a little in and out. A lot of play. It seems simple, but a lot of players can't do that. They've either got a stuttery step or they just can't keep momentum when they step like that. It was beautiful, and this one was another one off phase play. Yeah, he's shaping to kick. He's thinking, I'm going to kick, and last minute changes his mind, tucks it, and goes out and just fools 3 Cardiff players. But you can't. Scarlets massively deserved to win that. They were better up front. They had a better drive-in line-out. They were more physical than Cardiff. They had to deal with a red card as well to Callum Afomi on 44 minutes. There's also 2 yellows for Cardiff, so they actually really only had to play with 14 men for 20 minutes. But they were good. Sam Costello, I thought, probably had his best game I've seen him play. Was a bit probably I've not seen him perform to that level before, and his try is really well taken. Takes it flat, as all 10 should do, and makes a decision last minute to tuck it. Really good fend on Thomas Williams and great place. And he outplayed Jared Evans, and that's good because it increases competition in a number 10 jersey. But everyone has been talking about Jared Evans, and could he be the answer maybe Wales are looking for in a more creative 10? But he did it. The best thing now, lads, is that Scarlets go to Cardiff next week, and Cardiff have made it really difficult to win at the Arms Park. So I think it's going to be another great game.
Yeah, I think, and I hadn't thought about your point there on Cubby retiring, which is
you played with him, John. I mean, give us a little
one of the best team. I didn't play with Andy Powell, but he's one of those guys that everyone's got an Andy Powell story. He's got a number of Andy Powell stories, and everyone, I think he's one of the best club men I ever played with. Just always something going on around him. The year that he broke through into the Scarlets team as well, I've never been in a team where someone's got more man of the match awards in a season. It was every single week, and sometimes he didn't get it just because they had to give it to someone else. He was that good. So I think it'd been in the pipeline for a while. This head knock's been lingering for 18 months, and you have to move on. But yes, I mean, I first
Players
met
like
him,
that are all about the
gonna-
team, aren't they?
Oh man, I first met him. He was in the sevens squad for a while. He was tearing it up playing sevens. And he was he was pretty slight at that time. He was pretty small, even by current standards. And he could go, he could drink, and I met him in his flat. We went out 6 a.m. We got in. He's had a pack of Monster Munch, and then gone and run a yo-yo and run to like level 21 in the yo-yo test. Honestly, he would just back it up. He didn't care. Part of the when we won the league was a huge part of that, just the social side of it. So yeah, looking at the game, you can see they were up for. That's the point I was going to make. You see McNichol there, who's pretty understated, pretty calm guy, getting up. You know, those guys, they were pumped up. You know, Costello going through, you could see as well. I agree, Shanks. I've seen Costello play, and he probably struggles from. I don't think Scarlets knew who their first choice standoff is. They switched between Patchell, Dan Jones, Costello, but you could tell he's playing flat. He's playing nice rugby. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that one pans out at the Arms Park this weekend. But we'll move on, and we've made some predictions on.
And we got Munster, Leinster, or not?
We don't have any clips. I just thought we're running on. We could talk about it. I mean, it's just the same again from my point of view from Leinster.
Well, just probably just a little bit on Dan Levy as well, who obviously, who's unfortunately hanging up the boots. Not a good week, lads, but yeah, like Dan, 11 caps for Ireland. Unbelievable player.
I believe that's all he had.
Yeah, wrecked himself. 76, if my memory serves me right, 76 caps for Leinster. Like he's been injured for 2.5 years, and he came back. He played 7 games for Leinster. Hasn't really looked good. And then you read in the papers that he's going in for another op, where he's hurt something else. But class player. Like when he was in full flow, he was one of the best. Obviously won the European Cup 2018 with Leinster. Started in that game. Quality operator, only 27 years of age, like having to hang up the boots. But I'm sure you'd agree, lads. Wish him all the very best, and I'm not sure if he's going to stay in rugby in a coaching capacity or S&C or what he studied or what way he wants to go. But I'm sure we'll see him in the near future on the golf course, more or less, I would think.
Yeah, he's quality. Lovely. I mean, I don't know him from only played against him a handful of times, but yeah, nice guy. Whenever you speak to him post game, nice guy, unbelievable. Like I said, I couldn't believe he had 11 caps because I just felt like he was a huge part of that team. Yeah. And he was, but he only played a season or 18 months with the Irish team. So yeah, really sad. But you can see
his name carries more caps, doesn't it, than that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a big name, and people were talking about for Lions. He would have been a guaranteed, Lion. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad, but whether there was an emotional reaction from Leinster, big derby for them, big result. Big golfing class, I think, between the two. Yeah,
I'll tell you why they're good. On advantage, they're brilliant. Like they were at the weekend anyway against Munster. They get the ball wide straight away. Any advantage they got, they had 2 advantages. Both came from tries. Ringrose squeeze in the corner, Lowe squeeze in the corner. The whole squad just know. The forwards aren't just picking and going. There's a call, whatever the call. The communication between 9 and 10 is great. Ross Byrne gets the ball, and they just go for it. And they got 2 tries. As reward from that. They're just positive. They go through massive amount of phases non-stop. They can keep the ball for large periods. And it's just, as we said, same old. Just keep churning it out.
Yeah, I just think Munster are working. They're just working so hard to score a try.
Yeah.
And you give it to Leinster, and they can go through the phases, but they just opportunity. And then they bring on the Irish front row in the second half. Just power and precision. And when they get going, Gibson Park is quality. Yeah. Just keeps the tempo going. Just so well. We've spoken about some teams that don't look like they're that well coached. They're so well organized. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's to lose, I'd say. Well, I tried to get onto it a bit earlier. Playoffs, I think Leinster are probably going to make the playoffs by the looks of things. We've made our predictions for top 8. There's a few differences in there. but largely the same personnel. In fact, they're entirely the same personnel, just different versions of it.
Yeah.
Different
There's a bit of a gap
versions
opening
yourself.
up now, lads. There's a bit of a gap opening between 8th and 9th. I know there's a game in hand, but unless the Lions make a bit of a run for it, like towards the end of the season, I think that's are going to be our top 8. I honestly think Edinburgh, like just with the games they have, could get that home quarter final, which would be class, especially in their new stadium. It would be a good crowd, good atmosphere there.
That's the Glasgow game, I think, will determine where they are. If they beat
Yeah.
Glasgow, I think they will be there. I'm not sure they will. I don't know. It's a close one. Be great though. It's a great run.
Yeah. 3 games to go, lots to play for. Yeah, I just think Edinburgh, with the fixtures they have, they've got to play Ulster in Edinburgh. They got to play Glasgow in Edinburgh, and Benetton as well. I just think,
yeah,
I like I think they'll have come home from that trip confident. And yeah, it's just how far the South African teams can keep climbing in relay, and where they know. I think Glasgow have got a pretty tough run-in. I actually had them down for 3 losses in their last 3 games, which won't be a popular opinion, but hey, we will see. We will see.
We shall see.
We'll move on to rants of the week. Anyone got one?
I think we had it earlier. Did like 10 minutes on it.
It always happens, doesn't it? We go over again, or?
For me, it'd be more the TMO. Like, so what the TMO and the referee can't come, like somebody needs to make a decision. So like the TMO needs to be given the authority to go, you know what, that's a red card. Hello, referee, Mr. Referee, you need to give him a red card. Instead of all this communication back and forth, then there gets a loss of translation of words and different points and views, and then it becomes a complete mess. So for me, my rant would be either give the authority to the referee to say, this is what I think when he sees it on a big screen, or the TMO makes the decision. And at the minute, it's neither, is it?
It'd be mega frustrating to be a coach, and you're dealing with these what would you say, differences in interpretations, and you're seeing the same thing and getting different outcomes. I'm probably, it's maybe not my rant, but I watched the Glasgow ZEBRE game, and it's come out. It's the last name. Dobby scored a try, 5-meter scrum. Glasgow got scrum dominance, and he scores a try off the back. And I look back, and they say they're going to see everything, no matter what. Someone's always checking, is what they always say when you're playing. Someone's always checking. You don't need to ask me to check these things.
Yeah.
Ryan Wilson has clearly held on to the ZEBRE flanker, and I get the game was gone by that point. It was 28-0, I think, potentially. And like, there has to be a bit more consistency in what we're seeing. So then maybe that is a rant. That is a rant potentially.
I think we should change it. I think it should be rant or raves, because I got something positive. I went to Parker Scarlets, and I have to say the food was brilliant. I thought I was going to have to get. I thought I was going to have to get a Deliveroo, because we did 2 games. We did the OSPREYS game.
What did you have, Shanks? What did you have? Chicken curry, pie of the day?
We had.
What was it?
Well,
Nando's.
We had.
Nando's.
That was going to be the option, but there was food there. Scots provided it with shepherd's pie or cottage pie. I think it was cottage pie actually. And it was really nice. Cottage pie with a side of roast potatoes, so double potatoes, which I think might be an Irish thing. Is that right? Is that right?
Rant or rave? Maybe, yeah,
I think it must be an. I'm only saying it's an Irish thing, right? Because I had a Deliveroo mixed up with a chicken company when I was in Dublin last, and I got given their order from a well-known chicken company. And it's called Nando's.
Well-known chicken company.
It's called Nando's. Don't eat KFC. Not that sick. But I had someone else's, and I thought, I'm gonna have to eat it now. So I opened it up, and there was like a butterfly chicken, chips, and a side of mashed potato. I was thinking, why have I got mashed potato and chips? I thought
double potato.
It must be an Irish thing.
It sounds like you've been watching the Premier Sports Rugby League, Shanks, because they do like every ground that they visit. They
I watch it, Steve. I watch anything on Premier Sports.
The local cuisine.
Yeah, they have a pie of the week, don't they? Yeah, love that show. But anyway, yeah, so double potatoes.
Anyone listening really enjoying this content, talking about double
Yeah.
potato. Really
level.
top stuff. Love it.
Couple of apps.
Moving on to the last section, presenter's choice, which there we go. We've maybe covered. Oh no, okay. Players who retired too soon. Best prank ever pulled on a player, or favorite moment playing in South Africa. I never played in South Africa, so that rules that. Players who retired too soon. We'll go best prank ever played in a player.
Okay.
Best prank ever pulled on a player, excuse me. Shanks, you're pranked, don't you?
Okay, I've got loads, mate. You know what I'm like.
Yeah, loads.
Remember Xavier Rush when he came to Cardiff?
Rushy.
He super smooth, right? And we were around a restaurant, and a few of us, there's 4 of us, and there was a girl having dinner with a bloke. And on the way out, he just walked past, and in front of the bloke, handed her his number and said, give me a call if you want to hook up. And being the opportunist like I am, I got my mate to text him the next day, pretending it was the girl, and arranged to meet him in Cardiff Bay for a drink in a bar downstairs. And anyway, I saw a moment then when he was getting ready, so I got my video camera out and started videoing him and having a chat with him and interviewing him about the girl. And he's having a shave and he's in the shower and he's putting his clothes on. I'm asking what he's going to wear and what he thinks and how the communication's been going. And anyway, we follow him and we go in the top level and film him waiting there with a bottle of wine, 2 glasses, and then surprise him. And what I did was I got Rod Manning, the analyst at Cardiff Rugby, to cut it all up and put it to a little bit of music and showed it in front of the team.
Very good.
It was like bullying, that does.
So don't mess with me, all right?
Yeah, don't mess around. You don't mess around.
What about you boys? Best one you've seen?
So Kyle Traynor got stitched up like that. He thought he was a bit of the lad. You maybe won't remember. He played.
Yeah, I played against him. Yeah,
a lot of talk. Trainer mate. He should have been a British Lion, he reckons. He got stitched up big time by that, and he was sending the boys who got a class. I don't actually. They got photos and stuff they were sending. So I won't throw him under the bus too much. We got Shax is gone.
It's the worst.
I'll tell you about that later. We got Duncan Weir, a bit more of a friendly one, who young lad, joined Glasgow, and the Glasgow diet isn't notorious for being particularly healthy, and he's probably that short for a reason. Stunted his growth. We took him out to a steak and mussel restaurant. It's a nice restaurant in Edinburgh. The first time with the Scotland squad, actually, he was a young lad, and you get the with mussels, you get a little bowl with lemon in it. And we told him it was soup. He had about 6 bowls of it.
That's brilliant.
Palate cleanser. All the boys are washing their hands in it.
I'm gonna tell my kids that. Yeah,
that was after boys have been washing their hands in it as well.
Finger soup. Oh, Stevie, come on.
I can't remember if I've told this one, but I was over at the Legends game there, and I bumped into an old pal of mine, a guy I played with, a guy called Stephen Q. Do you remember Stephen Q? Played number 8 for Leinster.
Cooley.
He was a big lump of a lad. Sorry?
He went to France, didn't he?
Did he? No, I don't think he did go to France. Anyway, he played for Ireland A, and we were up playing against Scotland somewhere very cold. It was snowing, and we got beaten 74 points to 5 or something. It was a ridiculous scoreline, and we were staying
north, isn't it?
2-hour bus journey back to Stirling or whatever. And Q said to me, "Oh, do you want to go out for a few pints?" I was like, "Oh, geez, lad, I don't know. Come on, we'll go for a few pints." So go for a few pints. Of course, we rock in 5-6 o'clock in the morning, and Brad's was the coach at the time. Michael Bradley was the coach at the time. He seen us coming in. They were just coming down for breakfast or whatever. So we went straight into breakfast. And it was the simplest of pranks. So just as Stephen was about to sit down, he had his sausages, 4 or 5 sausages, beans, eggs, toast, everything on the table, and he's just about to sit down, and I pulled his chair away from him. And the sausages flew up into the air, landed on Michael Bradley's lap. The beans were all over the wall. And he blames me for ruining his Ireland career because he never wore an Ireland jersey after that night. But honestly, we should get him on the show some night to get him to tell the story, because he elongates it a lot longer than I do, and it was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, we played with Jay. I don't know if you remember that game, John. We obviously rocked up 22 lads. Somebody got concussed. Then all of a sudden, somebody had a really bad leg fracture or something. We played the last 20 minutes of that game with 11 men. And Simon Daniele was catching the ball off the restart and just running down the wing and scoring the tries. It was absolutely ridiculous. So, but it was a good night out in Stirling.
That's why
that's all that counts. That's all that
counts for the A's. That's all that counts for the A team. Well, maybe not. That's all we have time for this week, gents. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your company again, man. Thoroughly enjoyable.
Cheers, John.
3 rescheduled games. No, don't thank me. It's just doing my job. 3 games on Premier Sports this weekend. But we'll be back after round 16 with some more top quality chat. And I don't know who's hosting that. That'll be back to Stevie.
That'll be on me when Ulster smash Munster at home. Looking forward to that one.
Dr. Back.
Well, look after your back, Stevie, and we'll get.
Cheers, lads.
We'll see you in a few weeks, lads.